Little button up here says you are live. And I'm getting feedback. Let me do this right here. I'm going to do this right there. That's going to help that. Hey, everybody. It's Live with Les. And as promised, now we're a little bit late because we had a little bit of a technical issue. But I called my technician and engineer, my wife, Bev. And she came in here and fixed us up real good. And I've been excited about this day because it's just going to be a load of fun with my friend, the one and only, great man, wonderful producer, guitar player, and I can go on, but more than all of that, he's my friend, Vic Clay.
I can't follow that. I'm sorry.
Wait, here, you probably can't hear this, but I'm going to do this right here. I've got a little button that says that I can do this. I'm going to do a button that's applause. Can you hear it a little bit?
Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah.
There's some applause for my friend Vic. But by the thousands there, they were applauding. We are going to, before we even get started, Vic, I'm going to say, I hope you'll come back someday.
I will.
Because I want to go into like your childhood from birth on up, but I'm not doing that today because today, and for weeks I've been crowing about the fact that I want to listen to the music that you had such a big part of. And I want to tie it into the fact that I consider you my mentor in the area of album production. Mm-hmm. You took me as a kid, as a snot-nosed teenager, and took me up into Cincinnati at Artist Recording Studio and groomed me to do record producing and all of that stuff. And so I want to tie all of that together.
See,
so you'll have to come back.
I didn't know that at the time. I was just doing what I thought was, the right thing to do. I didn't know I was mentoring anybody.
You were. Matter of fact, we'll go ahead and just, hey to everybody.
Hey.
And there'll be a bunch more come on as we go, and they go in and out. But then that month from now, Vic, you'll look at this and there'll be probably thousands of views. But to the few that will be here in the middle of a Saturday afternoon where it's beautiful, and so you're out and you're doing things. But for the few of you who are going to hang out with us, you're going to be loving this time. And normally I'm about 45 minutes to an hour doing the show. Mm-hmm. I have a funny sneaking suspicion we're going to go long today.
That'll be fine.
You okay with that?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to start with my introduction to Vic Clay. And that was when I was on the air on the radio in the Chicago market, WYCA 92.3 FM out of Hammond, Indiana. I was playing this Southern gospel music on this show called Crossroads for Christ. And it was hugely popular. Paul Johnson started it. He retired. I got to do the show from that point forward. And so I knew the songs and the music that I liked and loved. And I always would turn the albums around and see who was involved with this, who was playing, who was producing, where were the studios, all of these things. And so in the late 70s, when I was on the air, the music that was really turning my crank was coming out of Cincinnati, Ohio, not Nashville, Tennessee. It was coming out of a place called Artist Recording Studio, and it was being produced by this man right here, Vic Clay. So I played with my family quartet up in the Chicago area. I've got this radio show. And so these other Southern gospel singers and artists would come to me because they heard me on the radio, kind of thought I knew what I was doing. They'd hear me with my family group. They'd watch me play the piano. They loved the piano, all that. And so they started coming to me and say, can you produce an album on us? Yeah. And of course I said, yes, not having one inkling of an idea what that even meant. I had no idea what that was. I said, yes. So I go to my albums and I go, producer Vic Clay. I go to another one, producer Vic Clay. So I've got enough smarts to know I need to call Vic Clay. And so I call you and start talking, and you say, well, just come on down to Cincinnati. So I'm like, Vic, I'm 17 and 18 at the time. So my parents have to agree to all this. And so you talk to my parents, and the next thing you know, I'm on an airplane. I'm going to Cincinnati. You've promised my parents you're going to pick me up, take care of me, get me to the hotel, to the studio, take care of me. And you did. You picked me up at the Cincinnati airport, which is just over the river, really, in Kentucky.
Yeah.
And the first thing, you won't remember this, but the first thing that you did for me after picking me up was you took me to Skyline Chili and ruined me for the rest of my life.
Yeah. That's
You
right.
messed me up, Vic.
That's right. And I'm still messed up. I buy it at the store and make it at home now.
Yeah, you could do that now.
Yeah.
So I go and you show me what this, because I never heard of it. And
Yeah.
they had, things called like a 3-way and a 4-way and all that.
That's right.
And so I order me up a 4-way, which is their chili, the beans, cheese, and onions on the noodles. I had a religious experience at Skyline Chili in Cincinnati, Ohio. And I've been eating it ever since.
Yeah.
So you take me to the hotel, which was in Sharonville,
Sharonville. Yeah.
suburb of Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And say, okay, we're going to get started in the morning. I'm going to come back. And so you come and get me. We go to the studio. And then it started. You showed me how to write charts, do arrangements, how to envelop a vocalist. Don't play over it. Now, my early recordings, I'm playing over it because I'm learning.
Yeah.
So
As we all do.
yes. And so, but you're teaching me and you're mentoring me. And all I can say, Vic, is I don't have the words to say thank you, but I appreciate it.
I'm glad I did it.
I'm glad
You're
did.
certainly welcome.
So we're going to listen to some of that music now. Well, the very first album, I'm going to show you the very first album that the album's not in there. Oh my goodness. Where is, I took it out on the turntable. This is the very, I'm going to show the people. It's called Fireside Gospel by the Journeyman Quartet.
And where was they from?
Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah. And so this is the very first album that I produced. And
Now, did we press
you
that
helped me.
artist?
You did. Yeah. You pressed it at artist. And the musicians were, I played the piano. You did all the guitar work. Bass guitar was Dennis Whitaker.
Yeah.
Steel guitar, dobro, Chuck Rich.
Yeah. Kenny Bobinger.
Kenny Bobinger on drums. Fiddle was Junior Bennett. He was your utility guy. He played banjo and all that.
And I played harmonica.
And you played harmonica, or as my dad would say, French harp.
That's right. Yeah. Wow.
Wow. So this is going back to
what
about
year?
1980.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this will be about 41 years old. Yeah, go ahead and look at it. I'm going to play a song while you look at that. So this is the first album I ever produced. Vic Clay is showing me how to write charts and how to get this band together and how to do arrangements and how to do it right. And so I'm going to play the very first song on the very first album I produced, and I'm going to do it right now. It's from the Journeyman Quartet, and the name of the song is My Feet's on Solid Ground. Let's listen to it.
Well, I'm sometimes up and I'm sometimes down. But now my feet on solid ground. When God saved me, the power came down. Well, now my soul is heavenly bound. For now I'm walking on solid ground. Well, I once walked in sinking sand. I had no love for my fellow man. But one night I saw the light, and that's when Jesus gave me my sight. But now my feet on solid ground. When God saved me, the power came down. Well, now my soul is heavily bound. Oh, now I'm walking on solid ground. I don't have silver, I don't have gold, but I got joy, real joy down in my soul. I don't have diamonds, I don't have pearls, just singing his praises to this old world. But now my feet on solid ground. When God saved me, the power came down. Well, now my soul is heavenly bound. Oh, now I'm walking on solid ground. Now my feet on solid ground. When God saved me, the power came down. Well, now my soul is heaven bound. Well, now I'm walking on solid ground.
applause.
Oh, yeah. Let me get the applause going here. Here we go. Let me see, where is it at? There it is, right here.
I love it. Yeah.
So, Vic, how'd we do for a first time ever?
I tell you what, that's pretty good.
They sounded great, didn't they?
So this was around 80.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah. It sure was. Isn't that something? You're talking 40 years ago anyway.
Yeah, at least.
And it sounded like, I mean,
Yeah.
you could play that today.
The group sounded great.
Yeah. Yeah.
They did.
Man, that second verse.
Did you have input as to the arrangements and stuff that they did?
Yes, sir. And you helped me
Yeah.
with that. Yeah. We did a pre-tracking rehearsal up
yeah.
in Chicago.
Right.
So I did what I considered were going to be the arrangements for the songs and got the key selection and all that.
Yeah.
And then when I came into Cincinnati, we after You Ruined Me at Skyline,
Yeah.
we went to the studio and I played the demos,
Yeah.
showed you what I did,
yeah.
and then you wrote the charts
yeah.
and showed me how to do that.
Yeah.
And you probably tweaked some of the arrangements. I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
But yeah, what about that?
I see we have Go Jonah on there,
Yeah. Yeah.
which was a no-no.
I know that's a no-no, but we didn't know it was a no-no at the
Didn't know
time.
At the time, yeah.
Okay. So here we go. Let's do stories. So the
Okay.
Cathedral Quartet recorded Go Jonah, and it was to the tune of
Elvira.
Boom, Papa, Mo, Mo, Elvira,
yeah.
the Oak Ridge Boys. So they do this song Go Jonah. I may play it here in a minute. By the Cathedrals.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, I guess the Cathedrals got a call from an attorney,
They
maybe.
did. They did.
You take the story from there.
Well, now, let's see, who wrote that song? Who wrote Elvira?
Was it Dallas Frazier?
It was Dallas Frazier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, his publisher, I guess, their attorney called and told the Cathedral, told either George or Glenn one to cease and desist using that song because it was a ripoff of Elvira.
Yeah.
And if I remember right, now I don't know exactly what the figure was, but it was up in the tens of thousands of dollars they had to pay in royalties because that song, I mean, they sold tons of those records
Yes.
before.
Thousands.
Yeah. And so they had to pay the royalties as if they had recorded Elvira.
Yeah.
But they also had to cease and desist. They couldn't use it anymore
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they didn't get permission. But,
Oops.
yeah. Oops.
Welcome to the music business.
That's right. Yeah. That's
Some
right.
days are better than others. That wasn't
Yeah,
a good
and
day.
that wasn't the first one that was like that. I mean, there were several songs, but that was so recent,
Yeah.
that in fact, the song "I Saw the Light" is a total copy melody wise as the Brumley song "He Set Me Free."
It sure is.
And "He Set Me
never
Free"
thought of
was
that.
"He Set Me Free" was way before "I Saw the Light."
You know what? We play He Set Me Free all the time as an instrumental in church.
Yeah.
And I normally am the one that starts everything and all that. And I can't tell you the number of times in my mind I slid into "I Saw the Light" and started playing that after He Set Me Free a little bit.
It's the same tune.
It's just like the chorus has just a little thing different.
It's just the words are different.
Well, maybe that's what it
"He
is.
set me free. I saw the light."
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
But in my mind, though,
Yeah,
I'm singing
yeah,
"He Set
yeah.
Me Free,"
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden I start singing "I Saw
yeah.
the Light," and I'm
Yeah.
going, "What have I done?"
And there was a couple of other ones that was like that too, but that's one that because they was so popular and it was getting so much, and Elvira was so fresh.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That they came down and they
Yeah.
sued him and won easily.
You know what? That tells me, I believe what that tells me is that album that we just played was recorded in '81 because this year, which would be 40 years, is the 40th anniversary of the Oak Ridge Boys, Elvira.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I know Elvira had already been a hit.
Yeah.
It was probably, declining some.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was still very popular tune. But
they got
I
in
remember
trouble.
the morning George came, he said, "Boy, we got us a song, man. This is gonna kill him." And we did the same licks.
Oh yeah.
As Elvira.
Yeah.
Same stuff. Came back to bite.
Let me tell you, when the cathedrals would do that in person,
Mm-hmm.
the place
I
went
know.
berserk.
I know.
Especially when
Yeah.
George did the Papa Mau Mau. He would do that like Elvira.
Yeah.
They went nuts.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here's another album. This is the second album. I'm not going to play anything off of this one, but this is the second album that I produced on the Journeyman that you helped me with. I don't know if you remember that right there, but there they are. And so, all right. So there's that. Now we're going to go. You've produced a bunch of groups, and we're going to touch on that today. And I don't know all of them, and so you'll fill in some gaps. But I'm going to just jump to the cathedrals right out of the gate.
All right.
Now, I've got a few albums here where I don't know if you produced or played or what you did.
Let's see this one.
This is live in concert with the cathedrals, and on the back, look at there.
Okay.
I'm going to show everybody.
All right.
That's you right there.
Yeah. This one was done at the Cathedral of Tomorrow buffet.
Yeah. Okay.
In Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, and this would have been.
And there you are again.
This would have been 70.
I think the number down there will tell you 74.
74.
Is that right?
That sounds about right.
Yeah. Let me show the people. I'm going to show them on the front cover here, the Cathedral Quartet, but right there next to Haskell Cooley on the piano, that is Vic Clay playing the guitar. Now
I didn't necessarily produce that, but I did.
And there he is, right.
But I did do a lot of the technical stuff because we used. This was recorded in the studio downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
It was fed to the studio downstairs in the buffet.
Gotcha.
Was on the top floor of the Teleproductions building there.
Gotcha.
In Cuyahoga Falls there.
All right. Now, Seniors in Session. This is a solo record. Side A, I think, was Glenn. Side B was George.
Yeah.
What did you do on this one? Do you remember?
Yeah, I produced that, and we did that at the Cathedral studio in Cuyahoga Falls there too.
So there you go. And if you watch my show,
and that would have been
I played songs from
in that same area of time, 73, 74, something like that.
Okay. Now, I don't think you produced this, but you were the acoustic guitar player on the Cathedral's Taller Than Trees.
I played acoustic and electric on that.
Which Taller Than Trees wasn't it written by George? Was that written by George?
No, I don't think so.
Does it say here who's written by? Doesn't say. Okay.
That means they didn't pay royalties on it.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me.
Sorry, folks.
We didn't. We have to. We'll be back after this message.
This was done at Cleveland Recording in Cleveland, Ohio.
Taller Than Trees.
Yeah.
The Cathedrals, and my friend Vic Clay,
and if I'm not mistaken, that
on
was the second record they did as a quartet.
Really?
Yeah. The first one was the hymns.
Okay.
Beyond the Sunset, which we did on the stage at the Cathedral.
I've got that back here on the wall. Okay. Now this one right here, Statue of Liberty, was a huge album for
we did that at the Cathedral Studios.
Now it says it was produced by Marvin, but you were the director. Now what's a director?
Marvin flew in to Cleveland and came down to Cuyahoga Falls. And let me tell you a little story about that. I might have told you this before.
You have, but I want you to tell them.
I went up to Cleveland to pick him and Cecile up, his wife.
Yep.
And on the way back, we was coming down the interstate, and my muffler fell off my car. And here I had the president of the record company. I think my car was a 71 Ford LTD.
Okay.
And so this would have been 74 maybe. So the car was 3 or 4 years old.
Move up a little bit closer there. There you go.
And so, I was so embarrassed. Oh man, driving down the street, driving down the road, and my muffler fell off of my car. Bam, clank, 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 you know. And so I stopped, and Marvin says, "That's no big deal." He ran over to a fence row, pulled off a piece of baling wire, and got up underneath my car and tied that muffler, that tailpipe back up on my car. We got back in the car and drove to Cuyahoga Falls. He did it.
This is the man
This-
that ran the largest
He was
record label in Christian music.
He was such a down to earth guy, just
Yeah.
such a sweet guy.
Yeah.
You would have never known. Jumped out of that car, went over and cranked off a piece of baling wire off of a fence, fixed my car, drove back, and I was so embarrassed. Don't worry about it,
Yeah.
Vic. Don't worry about it. Hey.
Boy, that's a nice guy that makes
Yeah.
that calms you
Yeah.
down, calms you down. He could have said, boy, here I am. Get this thing
yeah,
going,
yeah,
Vic.
Yeah,
What's-"
yeah, we're wasting time.
Yeah,
But no, that
yeah.
wasn't Marvin.
That's good.
Marvin was not like that. He never had a contract with any of his artists. Handshake deal.
What about that? Boy, that doesn't happen today.
Handshake deal.
That's
You're
nice.
happy, I'm happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, he never had a deal. Now that one is what?
You played guitar on this one, an old convention song,
Mm-hmm.
The Cathedrals.
That was after I first moved here.
Yes, you're in Nashville
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
We're going to head back to Cincinnati a little bit,
Okay.
but this is a Nashville one right
Yeah,
here.
that's one of the, I think one of the first ones I played out here.
And
Here in Nashville.
and a great sounding record. You played great guitar. Here's another one where you were the arranger. Okay, now you never did answer my question. What was arranger? What's the difference between arranger and producer? Kind of like the session leader, maybe?
Yeah.
You wrote the charts probably,
I wrote
and
the charts.
Yeah, okay.
And got with the group and kind of organized what we was going to do.
Okay.
Uh,
I've never asked you
yeah.
that before, what an arranger was,
Yeah.
but basically
Well,
in today's vernacular,
yeah.
a session leader.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. This was one of their big albums too, Then and Now.
Yeah.
And you were the arranger
Yeah.
on this.
I was basically the producer on that. Kenny Harding, I think,
Was the executive producer?
was the.
Well, it says
says
producer from
producer,
Ken Harding.
But I don't think he even came up there. I think that just. I think that was
Ken,
just
that
one of
sounds like you right there, buddy,
Yeah.
if you're watching.
Yeah, in fact, later on he didn't even show up, But then, he did come up there for one or two of those. Marvin came up for one of them.
I'll tell you
I
what,
can't remember.
since you produced it, and I thought you did.
Yeah.
I'm going to
And
play something from that
In
record.
reality, I
Yeah.
think I did.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm going to play something from this record.
Kenny never had he didn't really have a lot of musical input. He was more of a
The business guy?
the business side of it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he's still pretty much like that with his label now.
Yeah, New Haven.
Yeah,
But he knows what he's doing on the business
he
side, boy.
does. He learned he learned from Marvin though.
Yeah.
He learned from Marvin, and Marvin
Yeah.
was a master at it.
I'm going to play from this album. I'm going to play I'll Sail Away Home.
Oh, okay.
Haskell Cooley
Mm-hmm.
did that. I'm going to play that one right now. This is an old-timey quartet sounding song that I love. Here you go.
I may be on a train, I may be on a plane when I hear my final call. I may be on the ground when I hear the trumpet sound. It really doesn't matter at all. I may be on a trip, I may be on a ship, but no matter where I roam, on land or on sea, protected I will be. I know I'll sail away home. I'll sail away home. I'll leave this world behind. I'll sail away home to heaven I will climb. Oh, I can hardly wait to step inside the gate, see Jesus on his throne. Someday, by and by, in the twinkling of an eye, I know I'll sail away home. It may be night or noon, it may be very soon. He'll come like a thief in the night. He'll come with all his power. It could be any hour when I take my final flight. I'll sail away with ease, faster than any breeze or astronaut you've known. The time is very near, soon Jesus will appear, and then I'll sail away home. I'll sail home, sail away home. I'll leave this world behind. I'll sail away home to heaven I will climb. Oh, I can hardly wait to step inside the gate, see Jesus on his throne. Someday by and by, in the twinkling of an eye, I know I'll sail away home. I'll sail home, I'll sail away home. I'll leave this world behind. I'll sail away home, to heaven I will climb. Oh, I can hardly wait to step inside the gate, see Jesus on his throne. Someday by and by, in the twinkling of an eye, I know I'll sail away home.
That is quartet singing, boys
Well,
and
that
girls.
brings back some memories.
Yeah.
I mean, really good memories.
Hey, I've got some folks saying some stuff, Vic. I want to talk to them about.
Okay, all right.
Talk to you about it. Edith Tripp, you know Laverne's
I
wife.
do.
Okay.
Yeah.
She said, "Is this the Vic from QCA
Mhm.
in Cincinnati? He played on one of our most popular albums."
Yep, that's me.
Edith,
Yeah. I
there he
remember
is.
that. I remember that. Yeah.
You probably played guitars on
I
it,
did.
and you did. Now, if Cincinnati had two really big time Southern gospel studios,
Well, they actually
getting
had
it done.
three. They actually had 3 or 4. Wright Studio up there on 75. They
And
did a lot.
Jewel.
And Jewel.
Yeah,
Rusty York's place. They did a lot of gospel stuff there. But I think Queen City and Artists was the more. They had pressing plants.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and they did it. They did the whole thing.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
And so they was kind of. Of course, the Wrights had a pressing plant too. Carl Burkhart up there. And he actually, that's the first studio in Cincinnati I ever played in. That was back in, I think 67 or so. That's where I first met James and Larry and Ronnie Goss.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
They had come in there to play on some sessions for Carl, and I stayed. I had been there the day before playing on some things, and I stayed and met them, and that's how I got to know Larry. Got to be good friends with them.
And you worked with Larry in Nashville several times over the years.
Larry was a real good friend of mine, and we pretty much stayed friends for, the remaining of his life.
Yeah, yeah. Brian Hoffman has this to say. I played drums with a local group from West Virginia in the early 80s. We recorded in Cincinnati with Vic. He was so kind to us, a bunch of greenhorn hicks from West Virginia. Vic also played lead, and Chuck Rice was on the steel.
Chuck Rich.
He says, no, I know it's Chuck. I don't know why I said that. I mean, he played on all of my stuff.
Yeah.
Chuck
was
you
pretty much the
you
guy.
said, who'd you say, right? We were talking a while ago, and it's on my mind. Rice, the player.
Dumpy.
Dumpy Rice.
Yeah.
We were talking about Dumpy Rice.
Denny Rice, yeah.
Yeah. Hello, Scott. Gary Lee Brenneman. Wow, what a great story. Oh, Vic's got great stories. Stay tuned. We got more coming. Hello, Regina, and hello, Tony Jolene Clay. You ever heard of her?
I do. I seems like I do remember that woman. Real recently. In fact, this morning.
This morning, yeah. Tony, a great singer and songwriter, and just she's wonderful. She worked with my son last week or 2 weeks ago or something like that.
She produced he engineered a singer that she produced.
Yeah. She's talent, that's for sure.
Yep, absolutely.
Loretta and my Aunt Sue from St. Cloud, Florida is on here. Patty Graham from Ohio. So that's great. Thanks, folks. Hit the share button so other people can see it later on, okay? Let's see. All right, here's another album going back to your days as an arranger, Sunshine and Roses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, were you really the producer? Again, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Does it?
It says Ken Harding again,
Yeah,
but you as the
yeah,
arranger,
yeah.
but you produced it, right?
I did. Yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay, so I'm going to play a song that you're going to tell the story of Sunshine and Roses. Now, Sunshine and Roses wasn't necessarily the favorite song from one of the singers of the quartet.
Yeah.
It had to be kind of talked into it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Tell that story.
Well, when they brought this song, Mac Taunton wrote this song. Who had sang tenor with them previous to Roy, I think.
Yep.
Mac took Bobby Clark's place in the group.
Yep.
And when they brought the song in, the piano player, Chris Lee, came up with this little lick that was kind of like, I don't know, it was kind of indicative of some of the pop songs of that era, you know,
Yeah.
9 to 5 and
Yeah.
some of the things like that. It
Yeah.
really reminds you of some of that. And so he started playing that, and all the guys loved it, you know, except Glenn.
Except for one.
And Glenn says, "Oh, I don't know, man. That's awful out there. You know, I don't think it's. We better think about that." So we recorded it with that in there and went in to listen to it. And of course, George and other guys, they liked it a lot, you know. So they won over the argument.
Okay.
But he was iffy with it because he thought it was a little too edgy for him at that point, which it was. It was a little edgy.
Yeah.
You know, it was away from their regular style as far as the little groove in the part, you know. Now it did break into in the chorus. It broke into, you know, a regular what you would think would be more of the
A Southern
psalmist,
gospel thing.
Yeah, went from the 8 feel into a shuffle, you know, with steel guitar and all that stuff.
Yeah. Chuck Rich
Yeah.
tore the steel up on those choruses.
But the beginning of it, when you hear the beginning of it, you think, oh, wow.
The
you know,
Cathedral Quartet.
But it became a benchmark for them.
Oh, yeah,
It became
yeah.
a big tune for them.
And you know what else was different besides the piano thing and like you say, the overall groove of it? They had girl singers on
They
this
did,
thing.
yeah.
What we call in Nashville girl singers.
They did, yeah. Debbie Wesselman and Kay Roebuck.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was very different.
It's very different.
Very different
Yeah,
for them.
Yeah.
And this, didn't this win some awards?
It did. I think it did win Group of the Year or something like that. I'm not sure. I think it did win. It was up for some awards. I can't really remember if they won, but I think they did win either the Group of the Year or I'm not really sure. Maybe Song of the Year. I can't remember. But it was definitely a off the beaten path for them as far as the arrangement on that song.
Yeah. You know what it sounded like? The piano and the verses, not the chorus, but the verses. It sounded like what the stuff that you would have heard on sitcoms in the 70s on TV.
A little bit, yeah. And they sang in unison.
That was a bit
That
different.
was the other thing too. They didn't do a whole lot of unison.
This is very different for them.
It was. Yeah.
I'm gonna play it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play it right here. So here it is, the Cathedral Quartet with Sunshine and Roses.
I used to sing a sad song filled with gray skies and rain. I used to sing of no future, sad days with only pain. Now as I look back upon them, seems to me that I find they were days in the valley. Now I've left them all behind. Sunshine and roses, only a thorn now and then. Cool streams, warm breezes, since Jesus took my hand. Green meadows and laughter, hope within a crumbling tide. And now it's sunshine and roses, I never miss the old ways, yet think back from time to time to those days of no purpose, when my life had little rhyme. Though the waters drunk be bitter, they but sweeter make the taste of one drop of God's blessing, blessing given by His grace. And now it's sunshine and roses, only a chord now and then, cool streams, warm breezes, since Jesus took my hand. Green meadows and laughter, hope within a crumbling time. And now it's sunshine and roses, only a chord now and then. And now it's sunshine and roses,
Vic, those girl singers sung that one for about 2.5 minutes right there.
They did.
I was talking to somebody, I think yesterday, about Southern gospel music back in those days.
Mhm.
When you would look at the back of an album,
Yeah.
typically there were 12 songs, typically,
Right.
and most of them were between 2 minutes and 15 seconds and
Yeah.
2 minutes and 45 seconds. That was 4 minutes and 59 seconds.
Yeah, 5 minutes long. Yeah, yeah. Really unusual.
So unusual
Yeah,
for that day.
and it became a big song for them.
It did. It did. It sure did.
See, Mac Taunton wrote that one, and he also wrote "Even Winds Whisper His Name," which is also on this record.
Which is a
Yeah.
great
It is
song.
Yeah, it really is.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, all right. I want to keep looking at some cathedral records with you. Are y'all
Okay.
having fun like I'm having? I know
I'm
you
having
are.
fun,
You having fun?
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't this good?
taking me back.
Man, you were a part of some great music, Vic. You were a big part of it. And matter of fact, speaking of that, let me see. I think I made a copy of it. No, I didn't. I thought I did. You were a couple of years ago. You were given the like the Living Legend Award at the Diamond Awards
Yeah,
from Scoops.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
Yeah.
After I get Mike Holcomb in the Hall of Fame, because he's got to get in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
It's just got to happen.
Yeah.
I'm going to work on getting you in there,
Oh.
just so you know. I'm doing it. I'm not saying I can do it,
Mhm.
but I can work on it, and I'm going to. All right. So here we're going to keep going down the Cathedral Quartet road here. Now, this was produced by you.
Yeah.
This was probably, let's see, this is 1978, it's saying. And this is the same vocal configuration.
Mhm.
And this was One at a Time, the Cathedral. So was this like a solo record? Did they do you remember?
Yeah, one at a time. Yeah.
They did like
Yeah.
a couple songs each kind of a
Yeah.
thing.
And I remember they had done this. I think they each did 2 songs, and they was thinking about what to call it.
Yeah.
And I said, "Hey, just call it One at a Time."
One at a Time. So you named it.
Yeah, I
That's
named
cool.
it, yeah.
Okay. For keeps, do you remember doing this one?
I do.
You produced this one.
Mm-hmm.
This one had He Came Back, which was a big song for them.
Yeah.
And He Didn't Come Down. That was another big
Yeah.
song for them. And so there you go. That's
Let me
For
see.
Keeps.
Let
There you go.
me see. Yeah, He Didn't Come Down.
Good record.
Yeah.
And most of these that we've done so far are on the Canaan record label,
Mm-hmm.
which in that day there were really two Southern gospel
Yeah,
labels,
right.
Canaan and Heartwarming,
Yeah.
which was part of the Benson Company. And you were a big part of Canaan there by way of what you produced for them.
Yeah.
You weren't part of their company
No.
per se.
No.
You weren't in Waco, Texas, which
No.
is where they were based out of. But the things that you heard going on the radio, not only the Cathedrals, which again we'll look at some of the other artists here in a minute. There were other artists that went through that pipeline of the Canaan Records and other labels for that matter that you worked with. Okay, now we're getting into my primo stack. These are some of my all-time favorite albums ever in the history of music for my 2 cents. And you produced every last one of these. And this one, oh my, do I love this album. Do you recall producing this?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Would you consider this maybe one of the more special albums
yeah,
you produced on them?
I believe so. Yeah. Again, it's that same group, though. It's the same group of singers.
Yeah. Which, as we were
Roy
talking
and-
off camera a while ago, that's this grouping was my favorite vocal configuration, personally.
Yeah. And at one time, after I think after Haskell left, I think George Amon started playing the piano also. At one time, George Amon was playing the piano.
Mhm.
And then Lauren Matthews came in for a while.
Yep. This album is full of so many great songs. Their a cappella version of There Is a Fountain is it's the best thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
For my 2 cents. And also it helps that it's one of the greatest hymns that's ever been written ever. And were you part of the arranging of There Is a Fountain, or did they already have that done?
I think they already had that done.
Okay.
Mostly.
Okay.
I think they pretty much had that. In fact, most of the time when they came to the studio in Cincinnati, they pretty much had their arrangements worked out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I might fine tune them a little bit,
Yeah.
but as far as the tempo or the feel of it and everything, but most of the time they had the arrangements already pretty much, and that's the old school.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I first got into being a part of Southern Gospel, which was with the Rangers Quartet, which became a trio later on with David Ingalls and Roy McNeil and Bobby Clark was part of that group. They would rehearse and learn their songs in rehearsal before they ever, and most of them they would go and sing it on stage before they would ever think about doing it in the studio.
Almost never happens today like that.
Most of them don't even know the songs.
Yeah.
They have to learn them in the studio, and then they, if it's something they want to use on the stage or in church or whatever, in concert. But back in those days, with the Weatherfords, when Henry had the group, and even when Danny was in the Weatherfords, and listened to the rehearsal sessions that the Cathedrals first had, it was, sometimes they'd spend all day on just a chorus, learning the different dynamics and the falls and the glisses and getting the blend just right.
Yeah.
So when you sang it, it had that feeling to it.
Yeah.
The blend.
And they would go into some intricate harmony things.
That's right.
Seldom did they sing a 1-3-5-1.
Yeah.
There was 4s, 6s, 7s, and 9s all over that thing.
And when Danny Coker was doing the arranging, there was a lot of the little glisses up or the falls down. Which you don't really hear that much today.
Yeah, it's too bad. It's too bad because that's good music right there.
It is.
I'm going to,
and that was pretty much indicative of a lot of the pop groups are from that era too. There was a lot of that type of from the Four Freshmen and different people like that. The Amy Brothers, they had that. I'm not sure, it wasn't the Ames Brothers had a family blend, but there was a chordal thing that happened that people don't get into that much anymore.
Yeah,
what they used to call modern
harmony.
Yeah,
yeah.
They just don't do it.
Yeah.
And I think it makes it really interesting.
Yeah, it does. It does. Well, I'm going to play the title track from this album.
Okay.
And I could play any one of the songs because this is one of the albums where there's no duds, there's no fillers. They could have sent every single song as a single to radio if they chose to. But I'm going to play the title song.
See, Haskell and George wrote this song.
You ain't heard nothing yet?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Here we go. The Cathedrals, my buddy Vic Clay.
Many songs are sung today we think are mighty fine. They've got a pretty melody, good rhythm and good rhyme. Then we think they're really grand when sung by a quartet. Just believe me when I say you ain't heard nothing yet. You ain't heard nothing yet. Till you hear the singing in glory. You ain't heard nothing yet. Till we sing around the throne. Such singing you will hear, never heard by mortal ear. If you like this quartet, you ain't heard nothing yet. The Bible says eyes have not seen and ears ain't never heard what glory God has got in store for those who trust His word. The singing up in heaven is gonna be the best. I believe the holy book, you ain't heard nothing yet. You ain't heard nothing yet. Till you hear the singing in glory. You ain't heard nothing yet. Till we sing around the throne. Such singing you will hear, never heard by mortal ear. If you like this quartet, you ain't heard nothing yet. I've sung the songs of many men, God gave them what they wrote. I've heard great orchestrated songs and thrilled to every note. I've heard it all from symphonies to solos and duets. But until you hear that heavenly choir, you ain't heard nothing yet. You ain't heard nothing yet. Till you hear the singing in glory. You ain't heard nothing yet. Till we sing around the throne. Such singing you will hear, never heard by mortal ear. If you like this quartet, you ain't heard nothing yet. You ain't heard nothing yet. Till you hear the singing in glory. You ain't heard nothing yet. Till we sing around the throne. Such singing you will hear, never heard by mortal ear. If you like this solo, you ain't heard nothing yet. If you like this duet, you ain't heard nothing yet. If you like this trio, you ain't heard nothing yet. If you like this quartet, you ain't heard nothing yet. You ain't heard nothing yet.
Them applause on that one right there. And I love how they end that with Glenn. If you like this solo, and then duet, trio, and then quartet.
Yeah.
Man, what great arranging right there.
Yeah.
Good stuff. You know what? I'm going to play another one from this record because it's my show and I can if I want to.
That's right.
So I'm going to. And I'm going to do the one that I talked about a while ago. And it's not the fast hand clapper. It's not that all of that. It's that a cappella.
Mm-hmm.
There is a fountain filled with blood drawn from Emmanuel's veins. Man, I mean, it preaches.
Yeah.
It sings.
Yeah.
It does it all.
It does. Yeah.
And I'm going to play that one because it's my show. And
That's what it's all about, too.
It sure is. All right, here we go. I'm going to play it right here. I'm going to try to, I got to find it first.
I think it's number one.
See, let's see.
There's a
fountain. Oh, okay. Yeah. Hold on here.
Here, I'll help you.
Thank you.
I'll help you do that. Since this is
God
your
bless
first
you.
day.
Yeah, this is my first day here. Yeah. Yeah. Here we go. Let's try this. Here we go. There is a fountain, the Cathedral Quartet.
There is a fountain filled with blood drawn from Emmanuel's veins, and sinners plunged beneath that flood lose all their guilty stains, lose all their guilty stains, lose all their guilty stains, and sinners plunged beneath that flood lose all their guilty stains.
Wow. Wow.
That's sweet.
Wow.
Very sweet.
Wow. The singing was not to Tony. Tony put a note in here. To her point, the singing wasn't perfect. She didn't say that. That's my words.
Yeah.
Everything wasn't perfect, but it was raw
Organic.
and right.
Yeah,
And then she
right.
said, "Bam."
Yeah.
And when you listened, you know, some of the words weren't exactly cut off together. Where today we would edit, tune, and align, and everything would be so perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they didn't tune back then. They didn't edit. They didn't align. They were there in front of their microphones, four men together.
Yeah.
The red button went on to record, and they sang.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's the human element that is missing on most records today.
Listen to the man.
Is the organic part of it.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
the human.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we aren't perfect in any way, you know.
Yeah. That's why we needed that fountain filled with blood drawn
That's
from
right.
Emmanuel's
Absolutely.
veins.
That's right.
You know
That's
what? Let's go ahead. Just take a spiritual bent here for a minute. You know, we're talking about how much we love these men and love their singing and love the songs and love the arranging and the feel and all of the things that we're talking about. But Vic, would you agree with me? Aren't we blessed to be able to be a part of this that goes out to the world? And when somebody's hurting, they pull this stuff out and it helps them.
The ministry part of it. Yeah. Ministers.
Isn't it something that we're part of that?
That's right. That's right. And we lose sight of that so often. I know that I meet people or hear from people that watched when I was on Humbard years ago, you know, and Tony gets the same stuff from her songs. Sometimes she'll get people say, you know, I heard this song and it meant something special to them, and you lose. Well, you don't know about so much of it because the music goes in such unknown places.
Yeah.
And unknown people that you don't even know would hear that music.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so special.
Yeah.
That makes it so special to know that your music or something you've done has reached somebody in a way that you never ever planned.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Because back in those days, you was just doing a job, you know. My job was to go in the studio and play and try to make a record for somebody.
Yeah.
So they could, you know, go out and sell the record in their concert or whatever, you know. And of course, what they did was ministering through their songs, but you never knew where all that stuff was going.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you don't today because of the internet. It's worldwide.
Yes. Yes.
So
To that end, for example, we have someone watching us now. Tanash, if you're still on, tell me where you're from. He's from somewhere around the other side of the world.
yeah.
And he's talking about, he loves this. Let me see his first comment. Cathedrals rock, he said. And then he says, wow. And then he comes back with George Yant's bass. And he says, wow, George Yant's. And Tanash, if you're still on with me, remind me where you're from, and I'll tell the folks. So to your point, because of the internet, he's hearing this on the other side of the world.
And all this music now, a lot of it is on the internet, on YouTube and different, places like that.
Yeah.
And so people are hearing it sometimes, maybe for the first time ever.
Yeah.
Because of the internet,
Yeah.
And somebody told me one time, said, if you haven't heard it before, it's brand new to you,
Sure.
To us, it's old because we heard it years ago.
Yeah.
But when somebody's hearing it for the first time now, it's brand new to them.
Yes. Yeah. I was doing a show. This has been probably a couple of months ago now. Doing one of my Facebook Live shows. And I believe it was on a Friday night I was doing one. And I got up Saturday morning and I looked at my emails. And there was an email from someone that I didn't know. I have no idea. And they were talking about how they just stumbled upon the show last night.
Yeah.
And something I said and something that I played, what it meant to them. Yeah. And he went to further state that he just lost his son. Yeah. His son had died. And he was in a mess because of that and other things, and didn't have the will to live. And I mean, it was just, it was so heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
And he said, I can't tell you what you did for me last night. I am up this morning with a different outlook on life. Yeah. And my son would have me to go on. The Lord would have me to go on, and I am going to go on. Vic.
See, it's
powerful.
It's worth that. Just that.
It is that. Yeah. It really is powerful.
Yeah.
Amen. All right. So I'm going to keep going. All right. Here is this will be in my top 10, the Better Than Ever album.
Okay. Let me see.
With the Cathedrals. Now we've got some vocal changes. We got Kirk singing tenor now. Roger Bennett's on the piano, and Steve Lee is singing baritone.
Yeah. I think this is the only record Steve sang on, I believe.
No, he's got some like that. He's got some. He's on a couple of the custom things that you did with them.
Okay. This is the only Canaan record.
Yeah. What a record, man! This is one that's got Right on God's Careworn Children. Love it. Quartet 101. God Cared Enough.
Roll Away Troubled River is it?
Roll away.
That's one of my favorites.
I'll play it then. Yeah, okay. I'll play it. I'm going to play 2 off of this album. I'm going to play that. Then I'm going to play my personal favorite.
See, that's one that I Know a Man Who Can. That's one of Kirk's. That he was featured on. And of course, Greater Vision has brought it back now the last 10 years, and now it's a big hit again. Look how young all of them. Yeah. Look at that. Look, fresh out of high school. Him and Roger. Roger both fresh out of high school. And do you have one of those tour jackets? I did. I had one of those. I think mine was brown, if I'm not mistaken. And I gave that to a kid over in North Carolina that he was special needs, and he became friends with Tony. There you go. And good. I ended up sending him that jacket. Nice. And it was like, something so special to him because he was a big Cathedrals fan. I did have that. And I got another one. I think it's it might be from Artists or from the Pains. I can't remember. But I do have another tour jacket that's similar to that. Yeah. It's not a 3X, is it? I doubt it. I doubt if I could wear it now. All right. So, okay, you wanted to hear, let's play Roll Away Troubled River. Yeah. Listen to the singing on this. Yeah. George. Oh, my. like he would always say, I just need to slap you.
Yeah.
I need to
It's
slap
so
him.
good.
Yeah, I just slap you for doing that.
All right. Here we go. Turn this up, folks. Ain't gonna get any better than this. Roll away, troubled river.
Roll away, roll away, roll away, roll away. Roll away, troubled river, roll away. Roll away, roll away, roll away. Roll away, troubled river, roll away. Roll away. I won't be caught by your raging tide. I'm walking safely by the master's side. Roll away, troubled river, roll away. Roll away. If you're waiting for my troubles to get me down, well, friend, there ain't no use you hanging around. 'Cause I don't care what comes my way. It can't be big enough, but what you hear me say, roll away, troubled river, roll away. Roll away, troubled river, roll away. Roll away, roll away, roll away. Roll away, troubled river, roll away. Roll away. I won't be caught by your raging tide. I'm walking safely by the master's side. Roll away, troubled river, roll away. I can always find a reason to be sad, and I can look around and only see the bad. But I can't take what my father sings. I can't trust him. I know he'll understand, and he'll take that troubled river and roll it away. Roll away, troubled river, roll away. Roll away, roll away, roll away. Roll away, troubled river, roll away. Roll away. I won't be caught by your raging tide. I'm walking safely by the master's side. Roll away, troubled river, roll away. Roll away, troubled river, roll away, roll away, roll away, roll away.
Hey, I hit the wrong button there, Vic. Instead of applause, they were laughing. You don't laugh at George Yance. I'll throw you out of the auditorium if you laugh at him in the cathedrals. Like you said, they don't do it like that anymore.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All of those falls at the end.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
You know what I call this? Real Southern gospel music.
Yeah.
It's real.
Yeah.
I'm playing another one from this
old
record.
school.
Old
It's
school.
the old school stuff. Now, I did some old school stuff with the Melody Boys.
Oh man, what you talking about?
But most guys they're not into that.
Yeah.
They want it. I'm not sure. It's just more vanilla and button pushing and not so much music as it is notes and long notes and high notes and
yeah. Well, here you know why? Because they'll fix it later.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
They'll fix it later.
Mm-hmm.
That'll tune later.
They're looking for a lot of times. They're looking for something that is going to be stage worthy or concert worthy more than record worthy, where you want to hear the record over and over and over again.
Like I've done that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's the way they made records back in those days.
Yes.
Now they sang this probably on stage. They staged these some of these songs though they might not ever stage.
Oh yeah. No, of that one right there, because I mean, during this time,
Yeah.
I would see the cathedrals probably 50 times a year.
Yeah.
I'm talking about all the time.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And let's see, they staged right on God's
Yeah.
Careworn Children.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, God Cared Enough. Always did Roll Away Troubled River. I Know a Man Who Can, and this one here that I'm getting ready to play now.
Mercy.
They would stage Mercy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they staged half of these
Yeah.
songs
Yeah.
in person.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to play my favorite now, and it's a slow ballad. Glenn Takes It, and from the day that we got this record, my wife and I started singing this song, and we sing it still to this day.
Wow.
40 years later,
Yeah.
because a great song never
No,
grows
they don't.
stale.
No, they don't. No.
It never gets bad. If
No.
it was great, it never goes bad.
Nope.
You can go to the grocery store and buy something that tastes great, and then eat half of it and come back to it a day or two later. It don't taste so great.
Yeah. These
Taste great today.
These all stand up today.
40 years later,
They all-
tasting great.
They all stand up. They do.
Okay, so I'm going to play this one right here, and it features Glenn. I gotta see if I'm getting close here. It's called Mercy, the Cathedral Quartet, featuring Glenn Payne. Let this song bless you. Listen to the words here.
How many times have I bowed before God to ask His forgiveness for some wrong I have done? And how many times have I heard the Lord say, child, as long as I have mercy, you're forgiven today. Mercy, mercy, God's loving mercy has saved both you and me. Oh, if we had gotten justice, we would surely be lost. But we found mercy when we knelt at the cross. I was a sinner, just struggling along, till God's great hand of mercy reached down from heaven's throne. And there on that old altar I bowed so depressed, but God, He gave me mercy when my sins I confessed. Mercy, mercy, God's loving mercy has saved both you and me. Oh, if we had gotten justice, we would surely be lost. But we found mercy when we knelt at the cross. Mercy, mercy.
Vic.
Yeah.
What about that?
Yeah, I love it.
Grace.
Yes.
Grace is getting that which we don't
Yeah.
deserve, and mercy is not getting
Yeah,
that which we do deserve.
That's right. That's right.
We
Yeah.
deserve hell
Oh,
as sinners,
and
but because of mercy, we don't have to go
And
there.
I've had plenty of mercy and
Yeah,
grace,
and grace too. Me too. Me too.
and
Love,
I
that.
want more of both.
We're going to need more of
Yeah,
both.
yeah, gotta have it.
This record still stands the
Yeah,
test of
it
time,
does.
Vic.
It
And hey,
is.
real quick, tell the folks about, okay, so, I'm from Chicago,
Mhm.
the Southern gospel capital of the world.
Yeah, that's right.
And so here I am, born and raised in Chicago, and I'm this Southern gospel guy, produced and radio promotion, ran the Singing News magazine, Solid Gospel Radio Network, all that stuff. And I'm from Chicago. And you think, well, what in the world? That's not Southern gospel in Chicago and all that. Well, listen, you don't understand, man. Up there was a place called Medina Temple in downtown.
Mhm.
Southern gospel groups would come there, and there would be 2,200 people
Yeah,
fill that place
yeah,
up and
yeah.
go gaga, just crazy over them.
That's right.
Morris Civic Auditorium in South Bend, and I can go on and on. The Orels
Mhm.
would promote and bring the
Yeah.
best in Southern gospel music,
Yeah.
and in this album right here, even it has a Chicago influence.
That's right. Yeah.
Tell them about that.
Well, Gary Hedden, my friend Gary Hedden, who now lives out in Leapers Fork. We've been friends since 1972 or 3, when he was in Cleveland. I lived in Akron, Ohio. He had a studio in Schaumburg called Hidden West,
Yeah,
and an artist. We was in the middle of changing over our recording console, and when we did that record, we hadn't got the new stuff in. We was kind of in transition, and so Tom Baker, who was the string arranger and the recording engineer on this, a good friend of mine, said, well, our friend Gary Hedden has a studio in Schaumburg, Illinois. We could go up there and mix that. And so I got on a plane, took the tapes up there, and we mixed that in Schaumburg, Illinois at Hidden West Studios.
take that, folks.
Yeah.
Chicago again comes through for Southern gospel music.
That's right.
Okay, so you mentioned while one of the other songs was playing, you said, "Hey, get that record that's got that Romans 8:28 on it."
Yeah.
Okay, that's this one right
Okay,
here.
yeah.
It's called "Colors of His Love."
Yeah, that's a good record too.
All right, we'll talk about this. Why did you want me to get this Romans 8:28?
Well,
This record.
it was a little bit different too. We had a trumpet on that, a solo trumpet, and horns, a horn arrangement that they didn't really. I think of all the ones before Larry started doing their stuff with orchestra, the only other horns they ever had was when they did the string cathedrals, a quartet with brass,
Uh-huh.
which was done here
Yep.
back in the middle '60s.
Yep.
And this, I always like this song because not just the arrangement, but the message of the song and everything. And it kind of one of those tunes that just kind of hung in my memory because it was different when we did it.
Great song.
It is. It's a great song, and they did it very well.
You want me to play it?
Yes.
Let's play it. Here we go from the album's "Colors of His Love," the Cathedrals, going right to Scripture, going right to Romans 8:28.
All things work together for good to them that love the Lord, who are called according to his purpose, my friend. It's written in his word. In the book of Romans 8:28, to the church the apostle Paul did state that all things work together for good to them that love the Lord. There are many promises in God's word, just to hear them thrills my soul. They were all written there just for me. I have no doubt that it's so. But if there is one promise that I have to choose as the one that can always take away my blues, it's all things work together for good to them that love the Lord. All things work together for good to them that love the Lord, who are called according to his purpose, my friend. It's written in his word. In the book of Romans 8:28, to the church, the apostle Paul did state that all things work together for good to them that love the Lord. Now Satan may rob me of my happiness, but he can't take away my joy. 'Cause joy is the fruit of the Spirit in me. That's something that he can't destroy. So when it seems that everything in my life has gone wrong, I can still wear a smile and I can still sing a song. All things work together for good to them that love the Lord. All things work together for good to them that love the Lord. Who are called according to his purpose, my friend. It's written in his word. In the book of Romans 8:28, to the church, the apostle Paul did state that all things work together for good to them that love the Lord. All things work together for good to them that love the Lord.
Romans 8:28.
Yep.
Man, oh man,
Yeah.
Glenn sang that thing.
Yeah.
Those horns were getting after
Yeah,
it.
that's right. Yeah.
Now, whose idea was you produced it? Was
Yeah.
that you wanted the horns? It was
Yeah.
the thing you brought
Yeah.
to the table.
Yeah.
Okay. Big old sound. Big old sound. Now, okay. Now this is bringing me to. Let me see. I think the rest of these. Yeah, the rest of these are what we call custom albums.
Yeah.
These were not albums that were put out by Canaan, their record label, but Canaan allowed the group, and honestly, I think all of their groups,
Yeah.
to record some albums on their own.
They call
and
them
it could be theirs.
road albums.
Road albums.
Yeah.
They
Custom.
sold them as table
Yeah. Yeah.
albums.
Yeah.
And now I'm just going to confess something here. And you've been hearing me talk glowingly about all of these Canaan albums.
Yeah.
I mean, these records have impacted me and my life is what I'm saying. I'm going to put a but in there. But my favorite Cathedral Quartet albums are their little cheapy custom records that wasn't on the big label.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah. Yeah.
The singing and everything was kind of stripped down.
And
you
they-
didn't have a bunch of brass and all that.
Yeah.
It was just those guys.
They did the same effort, though. They put in the same effort on these records.
You
as
could
far
tell.
as arrangements and song selection and stuff like that.
You could tell.
Yeah,
You could tell.
because they staged a lot of these songs.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna pull this one out right here. So they always staged "My Lord Will Send a Moses."
Oh yeah.
I enjoy the trip. Oh, the glory did roll. The last Sunday, greater is He. So, about half of this album,
Yeah.
they would stage.
Yeah.
But this wasn't the record label stuff. So these are the ones that they did not send to radio. So you didn't hear these songs on the radio, but you heard them in person, and you could take the records home.
That's right. Yeah.
Great album. Great album. All right, here's another one. And by the way, Vic Clay producing all of this stuff right here, telling the world about his love.
yeah.
They would sing this in person. They would sing When I Stand in the Presence in person. They would sing We Shall Wear a Robe and Crown in person. I'm telling the world about his love. Great, great, great records.
Yeah. Now this was. Let's see. Okay, this was had Mark and Kirk. Yeah, this was.
Yeah, this is Mark and Kirk.
yeah.
So we're in the
In the 80s.
mid 80s now.
Yeah, early 80s.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Now later on in the middle 80s is when Kirk left.
Yeah.
And,
Danny
Danny
came
came in.
And we're going to hit Danny here in a minute. Hey, let me see. We got some people on here. Let's see what we've got going on. Tim Webster.
Yes.
Now this is George Amon's son is on here and he says, "My dad loved you dearly."
Yeah, I loved him too.
I'm
I
going
loved
to show the people who we're talking about
Yeah.
now. We
George
did a while
Amon.
ago.
George Amon Webster.
I want to show him right here. Here's a good picture of him right there where my finger is. That is Tim's dad, George Amon.
You know, in
Webster.
the early 90s, I think it was 92, they had him and Roy was in a group called the Heartland Quartet.
Yep. Mhm.
and I did a record for them here in Nashville in 1992, and I saw where somebody had put a couple of songs on YouTube, and I listened to one of them the other night.
Okay.
And I don't think the group was together that long,
They weren't.
but and they was I think living in Branson at the time or working out of Branson.
It might
I
be.
believe they were,
I think you're right.
because I remember I went over there and did their vocals, and but we cut the tracks here in town.
Okay.
But yeah,
Well, Tim's watching.
well, thank you for watching.
George Amon's
I
son.
knew him when he was just a little old boy.
And Terry says, I miss George and Glenn. Yeah. And to your left, look who's hanging on my wall.
That's right. Yeah.
Glenn and George. And I know this is, and I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. I know it's going to sound crazy. It's going to sound like I've lost my mind. But there are days when I turn to my left when I'm working here and I talk to that picture.
Yeah. Yeah. That was later. And that's after George. That picture of George is after he was pretty sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
He'd lost a lot of weight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was not feeling good most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
We cut, me and Tony produced some records on George's solo records
Yes.
back in the middle,
Great stuff.
late 90s.
When you come back, we're going to hit
Okay.
next trip. We're going to
Yeah,
do that.
okay.
And we're going to do the Melody Boys too.
Okay.
But carry on. I didn't.
Well, anyway,
didn't
I was going
interrupt you.
because he was having a lot of trouble with kidney failure and his diabetes and everything.
Mhm.
And I remember we went with the diabetes. There's certain things he couldn't eat, and George loved to eat,
Mhm.
especially hot.
Tabasco
That's
sauce.
right, tacos and stuff. And I remember we in the middle of one of the sessions we broke and went to lunch, and we was at a cafeteria here in town, and so George was going down the thing and said, I can't have that, can't have that, and can't have that. And I said, well, George, what can you have? He said, a whole bunch of stuff I hate.
Yeah. Yeah. We've all been there though.
That's right.
Trying to lose weight and all that stuff. You
That's
can't eat
right.
anything you want.
And just a whole bunch of stuff I hate.
Let me see who else we have here.
Oh, that's Connie Dale. I know Connie.
Tony says, my faith in my Savior, Melody Boys Quartet, fantastic
Yeah,
record.
yeah.
We're going to play that on the next trip when he comes
Okay,
back.
all
'Cause
right.
I'm telling you, you produced the best albums the Melody Boys ever had in their career. And I mean,
Yeah.
and Gerald was with them 50 years or
Yeah,
whatever it
yeah,
was.
Yeah.
All right, let me keep going here. Terry, I love the old school harmonies and arrangements. Terry Carter
Mhm.
is a quartet man himself.
yeah.
Port City Quartet,
Oh,
and they're a very, very fine
good.
quartet.
Cool. Yeah.
Connie Dale, so you know
I know
Connie.
Connie,
All
yeah.
right. And then Tim says, love the Colors of His Love album. And Tim says, Mac Taunton says hi.
Well,
What about that?
yeah. Hello,
Hello, Mac.
Hello, Mac Otha.
Mac Otha.
Mac Otha Thompson.
Okay,
Taunton.
tell the story. What's that all about?
Mac Otha is his middle name.
Oh,
Otha, Otha,
okay. Mac
Yeah.
Otha is the middle
Yeah,
name.
Yeah, uh-huh. Taunton.
Where'd Otha
Mi-
come from, you reckon? That's an unusual name.
I don't know, but that was his middle name, and but me and Mac were roommates many times on the road when he was with the Cathedrals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Speaking of that, let's take a minute away from the music.
Okay.
We've been playing a lot of music. Now, you were with the Cathedral Quartet before they were quartet. They were a
That's right,
Cathedral
yeah.
Trio.
Mhm.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you were a member of the touring group, not as a vocalist, but as a musician. Didn't you travel with them?
I did sometimes, not very often.
Okay.
I didn't.
Well, here's a picture.
Now I did tour with the Weatherfords for about 8 or 9 months.
Yeah.
10 months.
Yeah. There is Vic with the Cathedral Trio. Now, who's in the trio right there?
Well, it's Danny, George, and Bobby.
Yeah.
I mean, Danny, Glenn, and Bobby.
Yeah, Glenn's right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was before George.
Now, I have a question for you. If one was to look at that picture, one would think it's Vic Clay and the Cathedral
That's
Trio
right. Yeah,
because you're the
because I-
only one in,
Yeah,
not,
I have
in that
a
suit.
different suit. Yeah. Yeah. I'm the lead singer there.
So you traveled some and
Yeah.
played. When you did, you played guitar
I did,
with the
yeah.
Cathedrals.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, all right. And okay, let's see. Let's do another thing. I brought this. Okay, we're talking, and I've shown this on my show before, but I'm going to go ahead and show it here real quick. Ernie Haas and George Jan signed
Oh,
this
wow.
for me. It's one of George's ties.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that something? Let
Yeah.
me show this again
I
to the
love
folks
it.
right here.
Yeah.
Look at
Yeah.
that. Right there is their signatures.
Yeah.
This is called Les Butler Southern Gospel Music Memorabilia, Memories, and Ministry. We've been giving you a bunch of all of
I
that.
also gave you a pair of Glenn's boots.
You mean these boots right here?
Yeah. Yep. That's him. Yeah.
Look at this.
They came in to they pulled into Artist one morning to pick up some product. And I was sitting in my office and Glenn came in there. And I said, man, Glenn, those are some nice boots you're wearing. He says, what size you wear? I said, 10s. He says, pull one off. He said, does that fit you? I put it on. I said, yeah. He says, they're yours. Hey, bud, get me another pair of boots off the bus.
Well, let me tell you what. This, I don't know, it was probably 10 years ago or so. You called me on my phone, and you asked, are you in your office? That's when I was publisher of Singing News. And I said, yeah, I'm in my office, Vic. You close by? He said, yeah. Can I stop by? I said, you can stop by anytime, 24/7.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, I got something for you. And so I'm going, oh, no, hey, what's going on here? And you come walking in with a box in a bag and said, this is for you. And I said, wow, well, what is this? He said, open it up. So I open it up. And there are these boots. And I said, whose were these once upon a time? Because I kind of figured where it was going.
Yeah.
And you said Glenn Payne. Yeah. And I don't think I own anything personally that's any more treasured to me than what I just showed you, Glenn Payne's boots.
I knew they would be.
Vic,
That's why I gave them to you.
thank you. I keep them up on the shelf there. I took them down just so I can have them here to show people. I keep them up on a shelf with some other things.
I wore them for a long time.
Was that smell I smelled when you gave them to me?
Yeah. Those dirty socks I would.
Here, wait a minute. Let me hit the laugh button now. There, that's when you're supposed to laugh, when you do something like that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Man, oh man. Folks, I own a pair of Glenn Payne's boots. And you don't.
That's right.
Okay, so all right. I'm going to save these pictures for later. Okay, so now we've done some more memorabilia. Now let's get back to the music. So you produced this album right here called Interwoven. Interwoven with songs we used to sing. And it's got songs we used to sing: No Tears in Heaven, Old Time Religion, Sweet Hour Prayer. So these are old, great classic songs done only the way the cathedrals can do them and only the way this man can produce it. All right, now here we go. We talked about this album a while ago. This is the one that's got Go Jonah on it.
That's right. Yeah.
And I'm going to play it. If you've never heard Go Jonah, it's to the tune of Elvira with the Papa Mau Mau's and the whole 9 yards.
This
and,
also has Yesterday's, which was one of
George's songs.
Yeah.
Crumbs from the Table, I thought was a great cut. He Keeps Lifting Me Higher was a great cut. Oh Happy Day. It's all wonderful. Yeah. And so this is the Oh Happy Day album with the Cathedrals. And so I'm going to play Go Jonah.
Okay.
So here we go. All right. Go Jonah. Let me see where is it? It is the last cut
on that. Yeah.
Okay. Let me see. Do I have the right one? Yeah. Okay. See, since I don't have a cue, I got to just guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here we go. I'm guessing now. Let me see if I can get close here. I did it. It's spot on, Vic. Sounds like Elvira, doesn't it?
Go Jonah. Go Jonah. Go to Nineveh. Go Jonah. A message came from heaven. Nineveh was on God's mind. He said to Jonah, go let my light shine. Go and tell my people they'd better mend their ways, because if they don't, this might be their last days. And God was saying, go Jonah. Go Jonah. Go to Nineveh. Go Jonah. Get on up. get on up, go down, Jonah. Get on up, get on up, go down, Jonah. God will tell you what to say. Instead of going to Nineveh, Jonah went the other way. The things didn't go the way that Jonah had planned. A storm made him jump and holler, and by a big fish he was swallowed. And God made that fish cough up his prophet man. And God was saying, go Jonah, go Jonah, go to Nineveh, go Jonah. Get on up, go down, Jonah. Get on up, go down, Jonah. God will tell you what to say. Go Jonah, yeah. Go Jonah, yeah. Go to Nineveh, go Jonah. Get on up, go down, Jonah. Get on up, go down, Jonah. God will tell you what to say. God will tell you what to say.
Wow. Okay. George did some singing there.
That's a collector's item right there.
It is.
Totally out of print.
Yeah, yeah. And I got me one right there. And the reason, if you missed it, Go Jonah is to the tune of Elvira. And so somebody figured something out, and lawyers started getting a hold of people. And the next thing you know, cease and desist. Stop that.
Yeah, don't do that anymore. And pay us money.
Yes, but yeah, at the same time. But boy, when they did that in person, oh my word.
Yeah. George could sell it too. And Mark did a great job too. He really did.
Mark Trammell's my all-time ever favorite baritone.
Yeah.
That's just me speaking. Y'all may have a different one.
Yeah.
He's my all-time favorite.
He was
and Glenn Allred of the Florida Boys.
And George told me one time, he said, Mark is one of the, if not the best, one of the best quartet men I've ever worked with.
Yeah.
He said when he left the group, he missed his input with arrangements and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
He said, I miss that more than, anything. He said, but not just loving him as a man, but
yeah.
He said, he's a great quartet man. He said, I really missed that whenever he left the group.
Well, the album I'm going to put up here next is my favorite custom album by the Cathedrals. Not the Canaan records, but their custom records. It's my favorite. It's called Cherish That Name. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, I love every song. I have played that to where it's got album burn on it over and over and over again. Do you remember producing this one?
I do. Yeah. Yeah.
I love all the songs on it. I think I'm going to play off of this one. If Jeff Gibson, if he was watching now, Jeff Gibson of Heaven Bound, he was the writer of Canaan Land is Just in Sight.
Yeah.
And he watches my show frequently.
Yeah.
Not every single one. He probably goes back and gets the ones where he's not live. He probably watches them all, but he's on live with me a lot. If he was on live, I would have played that
Canaan Land was big,
Huge.
Big song. Then.
And they sang it. Yeah. They sing it in person.
Yeah.
But I'm going to play cut number 2 on side 1, which was made popular by somebody else that you worked with.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about the Weatherfords.
Weatherfords. Yeah. Lily Fern, that was one of her favorite songs to sing. And in 1959, when I first moved to Akron and I started working with the Humbards, the Weatherfords, of course, was on staff there at the Cathedral of Tomorrow. And the first quartet record I ever played on was a record, I think, what was the name of that? It was in the summer of 59. And Tell My Friends, we did it in Cleveland, Ohio, at Cleveland Recording. No, audio recording in Cleveland. And Tell My Friends was on that record.
Now, this is a great version of "Tell My Friends." It
Yeah,
really is.
it is,
But
yeah.
Lily Fern Weatherford,
That was her
Is-
song forever.
and there's nobody
Yeah.
can sing it like
Yeah.
her.
I know.
Did you ever produce anything on them?
No.
Okay.
I played on some of their records, but
Okay.
I never really produced them.
Okay.
No.
Well, this isn't Lily Fern, but the Cathedrals do
Yeah.
a great job on this, and I'm gonna play this one right here. And if you know it, sing along. Tell my friends.
If you have to cross chilly Jordan, tell my friends on the other side of Jordan that I will be there soon. Then we'll talk it over, how Jesus paid the cost, how he died to save us, and hung on the cross. Tell my darling mother how I've missed her.
And tell my daddy
Oh, tell them both just to wait by the river, that I will be there soon. Then we'll talk it over, how Jesus paid the cost, how he died to save us, and hung on the cross. Tell my friends on the other side of Jordan that I will be there soon.
Boy, what a great,
Yeah.
great song. Great.
Yeah.
Tell my friends. And
Yeah.
it's on my favorite Cathedral custom album, arguably
Mhm.
my favorite album,
Yeah.
period. Every
And Kurt sang
single
that
song.
really well.
He did. He did. He did. Okay. Let me keep going here. Okay, let's see. We got some people talking to us. Let's see what we've got going on here. Let me go down to here. Okay, so Tim Webster says that Mac Taunton is his father-in-law.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Connie Dale says, "You look and sound great. Such a humble man of God. Love you." And Tony
Well,
Jolene Clay.
isn't she kind?
She's truthful is what
Yeah,
she is.
she's kind.
Tim Webster, Mark is a classy and incredible man and the greatest baritone ever. He and Glenn Allred. I
Yeah.
got to put Glenn in
Yeah.
there. Milton Ostrander, you know Big Mo?
I don't know, Mo.
Well, legendary.
Yeah.
He says, legendary to you.
Thank
Mo,
you.
you, sir, are right. All right, here we go. Let me keep going now. Hey, folks, you need to share this because everybody's got to see this. And we're running out of time. So I know, like I said before we started, you got to come back.
I will.
Because I've got albums back here that you produced that's not cathedrals.
Yeah.
We're not going to be able to touch them today.
Yeah.
So the next
Okay.
time you come, we're going to do some of those albums.
Sounds good.
So we'll finish with the cathedral.
I'll try to stay out of the hospital.
Okay. So he was supposed to be here last month, and you know that because I told you.
Yeah.
And so the day before, I get Tony texts me and said, Vic's in the hospital. And I'm like, no. So I get a hold of her and see what's going on. And so, but you're better, obviously.
I'm good. I'm good to go now.
Good to go. Okay.
Had some kind of infection in my back that was, man, it's really painful. But I'm good.
You're looking good.
good now.
I agree with him.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here's individually. So this is an album where each of them do 2 songs each. And it's great. And again, produced by my friend, Vic Clay. Smooth as Silk. You remember that record?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Now that has Steve Lee on it.
Yeah.
And we were talking about, I had, who did I have on here with me? I had Scott Fowler with me about a week or 2 ago.
Yeah.
And I showed everyone his baseball card that the Singing News made back then of Scott when he was actually with the Sound segueing into the Cathedral Quartet. And he had a caterpillar mustache that was absolutely hilarious to look at. So I showed that on the screen, and he said, Glenn hated that thing.
Yeah.
And he said, you're going to get rid of that thing because no facial hair. And then somebody got to thinking about it later in the week, and they sent me a message and said, Steve Lee had a mustache.
He sure did.
So
sure
Glenn
did.
liked Steve's. He hated yours, Scott, but he loved Steve's.
And he didn't like Scott's hair. Scott knows what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, he knows.
I'm going to have Scott on again live and ask him that story.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me see what's on this because it's another great record. I'm winging my way back home. Incredible. Another version of I Know a Man Who Can. Stormy Waters. They did awesome on that. Love It to Me. 'Tis So Sweet. Another custom album that was as good as all of the label stuff. Loved it. Now we're going to, this is my last Cathedral record. We're going to change tenors and we're going to Danny Thunderberg.
Right. Yeah.
This is Distinctively right here. And it had, I'm happy in the Lord anyway. Remember that? Who Am I? John the Revelator, Thanks to Calvary, Even So, Lord Jesus. He's a personal savior. Oh, what quartet singing on that.
Yeah.
Cheer the Weary Traveler, what quartet singing. When Jesus Comes, what quartet singing. It keeps getting better and better. And I'm going to play this song here that features Danny. And Danny was, I don't know if it features him on both verses or not, but he made this song very popular with the group he was with before the Cathedral Quartet. And that was the Singing Americans. And he and Ivan Parker were part of the Singing Americans. And it was, I believe, Danny's dad that wrote this song. It was a huge hit for the Singing Americans, but the Cathedrals knocked it out of the park. And I'm going to play that one from this album. It's called Whiter Than Snow. Yeah. Here we go. I got to find the groove on this. What the world? There's no grooves on this one. Vic, what do you do with that? Let me see. We got, see, where's that? We've got, let me see. Okay, this is a total guess here. I don't know what's going on. Let me get a little taste of what I got going on here. No, that's not it.
See, which cut is it?
It's cut number, it's
Cut number 3?
3, but see, the cut number 2 is kind of a, I don't know. I think I just found it. Here we go.
All right.
Whiter Than Snow.
Lost and so lonely, just a pilgrim was I. I had no future, wasn't ready to die. Oh, but then I met the Savior. What a friend, Lord, to know, for he took me to Calvary, washed me whiter than snow.
Now I'm saved, yes, I'm saved by his marvelous grace. Now I'm a child of that heavenly grace. Now my heart is filled with gladness, and my life is all aglow. For he took me to Calvary, washed me whiter than snow.
Now I don't have much money or this world's noted fame, but there's one thing that I know that's for certain. Jesus knows me by my name, and although I once was nothing, now to heaven I'm going to go. Gladness, and my life is overcome. For it took me to Calvary, washed me whiter than snow. Now my heart is filled with gladness, and my life's overcome. Thank God he took me to Calvary, washed me whiter than snow.
Oh, yes. Whiter than snow. Old Danny Funderburk reared back there at the end.
Yeah. He took off the shucks on that one.
He sure did. What great music we've been featuring today, all of which has been produced by that fellow there. And so today's been all Cathedral Quartet stuff. But I'll tell you what, real quick, I'm just going to give you, this is just a small sample, small sample. Next time around, we're going to play some music by the Pains that he produced. We're going to play some music by Teddy Huffam that he produced. We're going to play music by the Hoppers that he produced. My favorite Hopper album right here, by the way. We're going to look at that. We're going to play some music by the Florida Boys he produced. We're going to play some music by the Dixie Melody Boys that he produced. And we're going to get, I'm going to get my CDs of the, of Gerald Williams, not Mercy River, Melody Boys Quartet. Yeah. And no telling what else we'll come up with. So that'll be on the next time that we bring Brother Vic over here to Live with Les. But I'll tell you what, and you've given a bunch of stories today. It's been wonderful. Can you think of another story that's got to do with Glenn or George? It could be funny, it could be serious, it doesn't matter.
Well, one of my favorite George stories, well, Glenn too. Well, this isn't a story about Glenn. It's about his family. You know, he's from Rockwall, Texas, you know, a little town outside of Dallas. And Glenn, when he was a youngster, he worked in cotton fields. You know, he was that cotton was big in that part of the country then. And so he was always talking about having to hoe cotton and stuff like that. Anyway, after Glenn was singing, you know, professionally, one of the stories was that his dad was sitting on the front porch and a neighbor came over and said, Elmer, that oldest boy of yourn, is he a working or is he a singing?
Okay, yeah.
I always
know.
like that stuff. Is he working or singing?
Yeah.
Like singing ain't work.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. To the working class,
Yeah.
they take a look at musicians and singers
Yeah,
and all
yeah.
that and think, what a bunch of lazy
Another
scoundrels.
story on with George and his family was George's brother Tommy
Mhm.
decided that he was always telling George, you guys live in a bed of roses. You live, you have it easy, because he worked in the furniture factories over in Lenore. Most of George's family did. In
Mhm.
fact, George did back in his early days. And so he decided to go on a trip with him. So they headed out west, on one of those 2 or 3 week, month-long tours out west, one-nighters, sleeping on the bus,
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
driving,
Yeah.
So this went on for about, I guess, maybe a week or 10 days. Finally, one day, Tommy came up from the bus. He told Bud, he said, now the next little town you come to, he said, I want you to find the bus station. And I'm getting off this bus because I've had all this bed of roses I can stand.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He said, I never knew you guys worked so hard,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it was hard work. I'm
Yeah.
not, the singing was the easy part.
Oh, yeah.
It was getting there and loading and unloading and setting up and all the stuff that goes on behind
Driving
the
all
scene.
night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Missing your kids'
Yeah,
basketball games, football
absolutely,
games,
yeah,
anniversaries,
yeah,
birthdays.
yeah.
It goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
You better have a calling on your life,
Yeah.
or you ain't gonna last long.
You have to love it. You
Yeah.
have to love that style of life.
Yeah.
And the people who have done it all their life, like George and Glenn did, and of course there's lots of other people that did too.
Mhm.
But you had to, you and your family had to get accustomed to you being gone, just like a long distance truck driver.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going to, or somebody in the military.
Mhm.
You're going to be gone for a week, 2 weeks, a month at a time.
Mhm. Mhm.
And whoever,
tough.
it's a tough
Tough on the families.
It's really tough on the families.
Well, Vic, man, I have had a
I
wonderful
enjoyed
2
it too.
hours. Did you?
I have enjoyed it. Yes, I
I
have.
hope so. And you will do it again.
I will do it again. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll be watching, because I'll give you the date. We'll
Okay.
set a date here in a week
All
or
right.
so.
Sounds good.
And
Thanks
then
for everybody calling in.
Yep.
Some
great comments. Well,
yeah.
let's see. We got some other stuff here. Tim says, love and miss Bud,
yeah.
the bus driver. Yeah.
Mhm.
Patty Graham from Ohio, friend of mine, loving Whiter Than Snow,
Yeah.
saying hallelujah.
Yeah.
Mike Keller, a good man from Alabama.
Mhm.
He does a Facebook show as well. Good to see you, Brother Mike. And there's your wife again saying, this is true. He has a huge body of work, planned several shows. We will do exactly that, Tony. We will just we'll keep him coming. We may do a monthly standing appointment or something. If he'll do it,
I enjoy it.
I want to do it.
I enjoy this.
I tell you what, maybe like on the next one, I'll get on and have some of you maybe email me some questions for Vic, and we'll get a little more engagement there. And we may play like a little trivia quiz game, and I may give something away. We'll have a big time. But whatever you do, please hit the share button so your friends can hear these great stories Vic's been telling, the incredible music we've played in the last 2 hours, and it'll be a blessing to them. So would you do that? Hit share. And Tony, we're going to end with this. Your wife says, thanks, Les. Then a big old heart by Vic.
Thank you.
Love Vic.
Thank you, baby.
Wonderful. All right. God bless you all. And we will see you on the next Live with Les. Check my my Facebook page and go to the schedule, and you'll see what's coming up next. Okay. God bless you all. Had a great day. I hope it blessed you.